Welcome to the squad. He's Icewater, I'm Puma. We're going to start off with Major League Baseball. Two of the sweetest words ever spoken. Game 7, Seattle and Toronto. They're playing as we're taping this show. I was thinking that Seattle was going to win it last night so they can get to the Dodgers. We're going to talk about them in a little while. But it seemed like their bats kind of got quiet, and Toronto just kept banging away, and forced a Game 7. What are your thoughts about the series so far?
Well, one that we know that it's not a sprint because coming out the box, you thought Seattle was going to make it quick and easy by the way they won the games in Toronto against game 1 and 2. But then you saw how Toronto comes back real strong with force. And now that's why it's beautiful. You're at the final game, all excuses are done. It's mono versus mono. And you try to find out whether or not what strength a team has, right? And when you look on it on paper, you think Toronto may have the upper hand because they have a little bit longer pitching staff, while Seattle's trying to come back with a guy that got to kind of select. I think it was game 3. They're trying to resurrect his regular season efforts, but the question is he going to be too tired? And are Seattle's bats going to falter? Are they going to be able to catch up with that? Because the main thing that has to happen for them, Seattle needs to score some runs early and get a lead. They have difficulty trying to come back all the time. They can do it, but Toronto's a little bit more better fit, if you will, better set to do what they got to do. So I think in order for Seattle to win this game, they have to start scoring runs early and make Toronto catch them. Because if Toronto gets up, I don't know. It's going to be, I'm sure, as we're speaking, it's taking place, but it's going to be a hell of a game 7 that I think people should check in and watch.
Yeah. And it really kind of bothered me that Seattle was making a lot of key mistakes during the game. Watching that game yesterday, that really kind of cost them, leaving men on base, things of that sort. And I expected more from them because once they got the bases loaded a couple times, I'm like, here we go, and they just couldn't get it done. And I don't know whether or not is that feeling the pressure or Toronto, is playing some really smart baseball, and they've been here before. Maybe as they say, pressure busts pipes, but sometimes pressure kind of gets you kind of unstable. We're talking about the Dodgers. Dodgers, of course, are waiting on this opponent. And I was thinking about it the other day and looking at their roster, they're loaded. But a lot of teams that these players came from, Freddie Freeman, Mookie, Otani, these were guys that were with other ball clubs that couldn't sign them for whatever reason, wouldn't pay them. And they land up in this super team with the Dodgers. I said it last year after they won the World Series last year, it's theirs to lose. And so here they are again. It didn't seem like they were the strong contender to get back here, but here they are again, shutting out their team and sweeping them in their series to get right back in the World Series.
Yeah, I agree with that to a point. When you mentioned about a lot of these guys and re-sign with their old teams, one that I said, one thing is when you see a team go all in on a player, a marquee player like that, and they overspend, and then they struggle, a la San Diego Padres, right? Things of that nature. You go all in, or the Angels. You go all in on one guy, and then the rest of the team doesn't step up because you don't have the talent surrounded by these to surround these guys, and they struggle. And then we talk about that. But then you go to the Dodgers, and then some of these stars that you mentioned from other teams are taking less money because they want to win. So they'll do whatever it is to fit inside under that salary cap to make sure that they can be on this team. Because you already know how it is. Like I told you about Otani. Everybody talked about Otani. Otani was amazing. I'm glad he just didn't force his way out from the beginning when he left his first team. But you knew the writing was on the wall. He wanted to stay warm and he wanted to win. Where else you gonna go? You going to Philadelphia? He's serious.
Yeah.
I mean, so that it was shameful in a way. I mean, I'll be real with you. I just shook my head. I was like, well, then what about the Angels, right? What about them? And it's like, well, they didn't have. I mean, the old team didn't have enough money. Okay, they did not. He made a conscious effort, and I know he so-called took a pay cut the way he restructured his money,
Mm-hmm.
but he didn't want to stay. And you can't blame him because you want to win. After you, it's like a full basketball player. How many more years? How many years did LeBron need to stay in Cleveland? I gave you 9 years. You have made no moves to make me in a position where I can win some damn championships. So after a while, as a player, you can't be mad.
Yeah,
You can't be mad as a fan. You can't be like, never he left. He can't believe he left us. If you want to win, y'all need to get modern day folks get off that crap. After a while, this is not the old Bulls. This is not the old A. This is not the old school the way it was where everybody sticks to a team.
stick to a team.
People are jumping.
Yeah,
Sometimes if you want to win, when the management, the front office people don't make the moves to help your team get better, sometimes you gotta go.
yeah, yeah.
You just gotta go, or you're gonna end up being like Dave Kingman with the Cubs.
Let's go back to Otani. Amazing, amazing game, the closeout game with 10 strikeouts and 3 home runs. I call him the new Mr. October because I've never seen that before in my entire life watching baseball. And then the team already made his salary, the $700 million salary. They made it back in 1 year. So, it was a great investment for them because they made the money back and they got enough money to pay him anytime they really want, if they wanted to. But when I saw that, it reminded me of the reason why the major leagues are trying to get Otani because he used to put up those numbers in the Japanese leagues. And so this is why they got this guy. And right now he is coming into his own and he's creating performances like that. And I was talking to Pop about it. He's like, about time, because he's been waiting for it. He's been waiting for that. And I told him, I was like, wait until you see him pitch and hit. He's going to be something special to watch. And he proved us right.
No doubt, but let's keep it. Let's look at this also too from the standpoint of how this was done with the Dodgers, where Ohtani was able to do what he did, and he's been amazing and hitting that, as you said, looking like the new Mr. October. He is must watch TV.
Yeah.
He's a guy you want to pay to watch. But the Dodgers did a very interesting thing, which I think if I was the owner or if I was a manager, I would have done the same thing, which was okay in modern day sports. You literally don't lie. You just rested him. He hasn't pitched. He took off all last year. He's been sparingly here and there. He hasn't really had a heavy load of pitching, right? So when you need him in the playoffs, oh yeah, he can pitch. So that arm has been rested forever.
Yeah.
It's fresh, it's hot, it's popping the strings on the mitt. Yeah. And then now when you need him, he's dominant because he's been like you put him in a glass case and you put him out in case of emergency. They put him out there. Oh my God, who's that? It's so tiny. I mean, shucks. And then just hitting him. He's amazing. I love watching him because it reminds me of the old school when a pitcher would hit, right? I mean, way before the designated hitter league. I know that's eons. Google that. But for any of those that don't know, there was a time where pitchers used to really regularly bat.
Yeah.
And there were some really good batters that were pitchers, AKA, look at this name for the Cincinnati Reds back in the day, Don Gullett. Guys, they used to wear, the funny thing is when the pitchers would bat, they bring them their little pitcher jacket. Look like a little pitcher jacket, a little plastic pitcher jacket. And they would get up there with their little helmet, just waiting as it seemed like they were a sacrifice until one of those guys hit it deep. It was just it was like, this guy is not supposed to be hitting.
So let's go to college football. Ohio State remains number 1, followed by Indiana, Texas A&M number 3, Alabama number 4. Number 5 is Georgia, followed by Oregon. Georgia Tech has been shocking a number of teams this year. They find themselves as number 7. Ole Miss number 8. Miami fell out of that number 2 spot. They're number 9. Vanderbilt number 10. They're a good club too. They've been shocking a lot of folks. BYU number 11, and looky here, Notre Dame is number 12, knocking USC right out of the top 25. Where they do that at, man? They do that in NCAA football. Your thoughts on last week's games, because it's looking crazy now. The playoffs, I can't wait till the playoffs kind of mix come in and who's going to be in, who's out, what do they need to do, win the conferences, all that stuff. It's looking real crazy after last weekend.
No doubt. And that's why you have to be very careful about believing all of the hype. You got to be very careful because things change. And what you thought you saw it was not consistent. So you just look at it from the standpoint of the way Louisville was able to upset Miami 24-21. All the money that Miami spent bringing in the quarterback, bringing in all these other guys and to return, to lose the way that they did to Louisville. And of course, I know that one Hawk told me, oh, Louisville just really looked good tonight. I said, you lose at home to Louisville?
Yeah,
The number two
that's not
team in
supposed
the
to
damn
happen.
country.
That's not supposed to happen.
No, I'm saying. So I'm sitting there going like, I understand that. But two, other teams that we put up there, everybody was pumping up Nebraska, lost to Minnesota 24-6. I mean, literally shut down. Alabama's looking really good. I think they're improving. That's a team I think deserves to kind of be around. The way that they shellacked Tennessee, put Tennessee in their place. And you have to ask yourself about that coach from Tennessee. Every time it gets hot on a big game, he starts shuddering and getting
We were in Las
nervous.
Vegas, and I said that too. With
Yeah, it starts
Georgia,
getting
yep.
tight. But then you just look over and over, and I mean, look at over and over. You never know. Arizona State pops Texas Tech. It just goes on and on and on. Georgia looks good over Ole Miss, and last but not least, Vandy took down LSU.
Yeah,
So if you don't bring it every week, you can be had. I
and it
mean, Penn
doesn't.
State almost won.
Yeah, and it doesn't get easier for LSU. They play Texas A&M in the next game this
Yeah.
Saturday. So LSU might be out of the top 25 after that particular game because Texas A&M is a real good ball club. And of course, the Florida coach gets canned today. We found that out. They're talking about a lot of different candidates. Even John Gruden trying to throw his hat into the mix. Who do you think is going to take over that job, man?
That's hard, man. It's hard to say right now because until the rest of the season is done, there might be some really good coaches that may be on the cusp of greatness. What I mean by that, they may be leading their teams to like a playoff, even though they may not win it all, and they might just all of a sudden make a decision. So, and one thing about Florida, they have a lot of money to throw around in Gainesville, and they are desperate to make a difference. They've tried almost everything they can. So you just have to really watch real closely near the end. Right now, if you say there's a favorite, I think it's fool's gold because you can't really say that because if they jump in on one guy right now, because unless he represents Florida, they tried that a couple times, get a Florida man. But they almost would do themselves some favors. Let the interim guy continue to coach. Wait very patiently.
Be
You
patient.
never know who might be interested at the end of the year. And find you somebody that can handle the whole situation down there. And I will say this. They've done pretty well recruiting, but you need a guy that has to be a mastermind recruiter, and he has to have some guys down there that has play callers, has a great play caller, offensive coordinator, and a defensive coordinator. Whoever they have on that staff has to be able to take hold of their own particular unit and make it pop. And I think that's been their struggle because I think that quarterback is pretty good. But you put him in a situation where it's almost as if he has to win the damn game by himself. Should not have to happen that way.
Yeah, a lot of people are saying Lane Kiffin from Ole Miss. Yeah, I don't. I, I don't know.
I mean, I see it because Lane gets every opportunity,
Yeah,
right?
he does. He does.
And maybe Florida's like, if he can do that with Ole Miss, imagine what he could do with all this money down here in Florida. They buy into the hype. And I wouldn't be surprised if they did it. But you had to ask yourself, we come back to it again. You played Georgia, you're undefeated. This is your year. You got popped.
Yeah.
Is that enough, though, just to kind of be good enough? Or if you really want to win, do you have to make a decision to try to get somebody that really can make a difference? And I don't know who that is because it's a crapshoot, but maybe that's James Franklin. Anyway,
Yeah, I mean, he was on TV and Lane, not Lane Kiffin, but Saban was saying, "Hey, the university did you wrong. They did you wrong. All the stuff you accomplished, they did you wrong." And you got a lot of veteran coaches that are pushing behind them, but these coaches they get fired and they're still winning. They're getting all these packages, man. 50 million and all the other stuff. I'm like, I wouldn't be sad. I'm like, I get to rest. I ain't got to chase behind a bunch of knucklehead players, and I still get to keep my money. Okay, I'll do that.
I mean, let's keep it 100 though. It was noble for Saban to say that
Yeah,
on national TV and everything too. But at the bottom line is, when it comes down to the big games, he wasn't getting it done.
yeah,
And granted, I think he could have stayed for another 5 years, even if he would continue the way that he did. But to lose the way that they did to UCLA was despicable.
and the Northwestern at Penn State.
And the nail in the coffin. I mean, you went out there, you let UCLA put a 40 piece on you,
Yeah,
and you're the number 3 team in the nation,
yeah,
a 40 piece. But then the nail in the coffin was, even though you lost your quarterback, I understand, you lose to Northwestern at home.
yeah.
The AD said,
Enough
I
said enough.
love James. He said, I love James Franklin. And I thought about this and I said, maybe we can just get through it. And it hit him in the head. Like he said, I couldn't even wait till Sunday. I had to make the phone call. I had to tell him, look, I cannot, what we represent here at Penn State, I cannot in my heart let this pass. You can't lose at home to Northwestern. You just cannot do it considering what their season has been right now. It's okay to, we can accept the loss on the road to UCLA, but at home in front of that crowd and the way they go crazy waiting for a redemption game
Yeah,
and you lose to Northwestern, your backup, you mean your backup can't beat Northwestern?
right, right.
All the money you spend on Jim Knowles to get him from Ohio State, and now we giving up 40 on the road?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it was set. It was set, and I feel bad for him, but I kind of felt that this his time was short there after those crucial losses, and because they were ranked number two, they were ranked number two. Ohio State weren't even. I think they were ranked number three coming into the season.
Yeah,
Texas was ranked number one, which I thought was
right.
disrespectful. I said it at the beginning of the season,
Right.
and it was because Ohio State's still at number one, and those two
Right.
teams are, I mean, they lost in the sauce. And Texas barely beating Kentucky and Penn State. I mean, it's pretty sad. In college football, it's going to be interesting to see down the stretch what team lands where. We already know Notre Dame is going to be in the playoffs right now. Hook or crook, they can lose 5 games. They're going to be in the playoffs because that's the way they want it to happen. So let's go to the NFL. Make sure you check out our NFL Picks Show Week 8. We just recorded that, and we'll have that up in a bit. But the NFL, man, I'm going to say this. Washington, Jalen Daniels. People think that the chunky soup commercial is a hoax and it's not real, the curse. And I'm going to name some players that I saw that fell to the chunky soup commercial curse with their mamas. Donovan McNabb, he was even thrown up in the Super Bowl. Kurt Warner, he was a quarterback, and he, after he did the commercial, he wound up hurt. Jerome Bettis, the bus, got hurt after doing that commercial. Reggie White, remember Reggie White in that commercial? Brian Urlacher, Terrell Davis. I mean, these are players that have like their career snatched from them because of doing that commercial. If I was an NFL player, Chunky Soup couldn't pay me enough to do that commercial to ruin my career. This curse is real. And now the latest victim, I mean, Saquon Barkley last year, remember? He was on that commercial. Latest victim, Jalen Daniels, he can't stay healthy, stay on the field. And I picked the Commanders to win the Super Bowl this year, but I have to renege on that because he can't stay on the field. What are some of the games that stood out to you, man?
Kudos to the Bengals. That was a hell of a win. I didn't know they were going to get it done. Just Joe Flacco, because not only did what Joe Flacco did was able to lead the Bengals, it also affected two franchises. It shows you the Browns. You have to ask yourself, do the Browns front office, do they know what the hell they're doing? You had to ask that question because how does this guy, 40 years old, that flew coach from Cleveland to Cincinnati to get down there? He was on coach, I think, in Southwest in the exit row, and he just came off that plane and won the game. But he's not good enough to be your quarterback in Cleveland. That just threw me for a
They
loop.
let a lot of quarterbacks go that just became star. I mean, Baker Mayfield in Tampa Bay. He was with the Los Angeles Rams before he went to Tampa Bay, I believe. And they just let a lot of players go. That's why I was hoping that Garrett left because he's too talented to be with the Cleveland Clowns, as far as I'm
Well,
concerned.
yeah, but he got fool's gold because they told him, well, we're going to make some major choices at
Yep.
quarterback.
Yep.
And the way that they have done things just makes you scratch your head. You went out and you said, hey, the factor is Kenny Pickett got a raw deal. Y'all just don't know. He can play. He's going to be our young starter. He's young enough. He can be around for a long time. So they cemented him. They signed him. They made a trade or whatever and got him. Then they went out and said, we need to have somebody just in case it don't work. Let's go get Joe Flacco. Then after that, oh, we like this guy who had great experience in college, been there 6 years. Let's go get Dylan Gabriel. And then the owner was like, well, wait a minute. That Shadura Sanders kid wasn't too bad. I'm not telling y'all what to do, but just in case he ends up being a wild card, why don't you draft him? So they drafted him. So you got your room. So you went through all this and you say these kids are not going to play, blase, blase. And before you know it, Junkins comes off whatever that situation was off the field and does wonders for them as a rookie. Other rookies are now contributing to the point that Cleveland says, the hell with it. Let's trade both veterans and start a rookie. And now they're talking about, well, we're going to do the best we can out here. And the defense is showing they have not quit yet, even though they won the game. They didn't quit. They won that game because you look at the offensive stats, the defense won the game. And now the Browns are saying, oh, well, we're going to probably pick a quarterback next year. Who? Mendoza from Indiana? First it was the Clemson kid. Then it's you bouncing all over. Then everybody seems like they have dropped. Peyton Manning's nephew is went down. Everything, all of these performances have went straight to hell, and Cleveland is still gonna pick a quarterback? Are you kidding me? And you wonder why? I'm gonna say this as my probably one of my last, probably is my last shot. I'm gonna say this. You wonder how the general manager and the head coach can come back next year.
Yeah, yeah. Please trade Shador. Please trade him. Please. You got Watson sitting there idle. Also, I'm not sure what they're going to do with him, but they're currently paying 8 quarterbacks at this particular point. So I call them the Cleveland Clowns. They don't know what they're doing. I mean, if there was any time to take a franchise away from ownership, this is the franchise you take from ownership. They have no clue what they're doing. Even though they won the game last week against Miami, who's another team that really doesn't know what they're doing also. This is a team that they get draft picks and they just blow them. They should be banned from having number 1 round draft picks because they're going to be there again to pick another player and ruin his career too. And then these players leave and they become stars somewhere else. Just about every
Yeah,
one of them. Every one
I'll
of them.
say don't take it from the ownership just yet because you know what happens then they want to move the team. The fans don't deserve that. You did that already once.
Yeah, that's
You
true.
already stole a Super Bowl. They should have had a Super Bowl already. You
Yeah.
stole that. So look, you can do a lot of things, but don't look. Leave the team alone. They're building a new stadium. They break ground soon on a new stadium. How do you do that too? Ohioans are pissed off now because you find the extra money. So they said, well, nobody's really using that unclaimed fund money. So hell, let's take a punch chunk of that and put that in there instead of sending it to education. Anyway, that's my soapbox. I'm off of it.
Okay, let's talk about some NFL football. Bear fans, hey, party it up. You were at 4-2 last year until the party was over and the balloon popped. You're going to see Marmar, Baltimore, and this is where I predict the balloon will pop for you. The Jets are still sad. They're benching our boy Fields. It's harder and harder to defend Fields. The Eagles looking like the team that we expected them to look like yesterday and throwing the ball. Hurts had over 300 yards in passing and getting the balls to the receivers. You had the Rams. The Jaguars are who we thought they were, and they even though they had Hunter playing offense most of the time, they only mustered up 7 points, and he was the one who scored the touchdown. Don't know why they didn't get the ball to him earlier. Mike Tomlin, shut up and just coach football and quit creating bulletin material for the other teams. That's why the Bengals spanked her behind last week. and the Chiefs got a get right game with the Raiders, shutting them out, giving them a donut in that game. Other games that you saw, or some of the games that I mentioned that you saw that you want to mention?
Yeah, one is clear for me. Kudos to Mike Vrabel with New England. They're 5-2, and they have won four straight. I just like the attitude. They play hard nosed football, old school football. Vrabel has the guys going on, they're fighting. You got Diggs running his mouth a little bit, but he's playing. You have a lot of guys who are playing old school, hard nosed football. I like the way that they go after it. Not saying they're going to win a lot the rest of the way. You don't know. But I think the foundation is being set. It's almost what Vrabel did early on when he was in Tennessee, right? When they started making runs. So maybe he's setting the foundation for a team, a franchise that would, and fans who would love to kind of be back near the top or at least in playoff mode. They would support the hell out that team. And don't let him get things set and some other things going on too far as players are concerned. They could be a problem.
Me and Pop's pick for Detroit this week, looking pretty good, 14-0 in the second quarter. Told you the Lions are going to be mad after they lost Kansas City last week. So hopefully that keeps up and they score any more. What's on your mind, man?
I still can't believe that they're making hype about Tank Davis fighting Jake Paul in November. I still can't believe that people are buying into this and they're selling it as this is a real boxing match. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't care if you like entertainment or not. This is not real boxing. And every time that you are able to that you start to accept things like this, like and say they're okay, that's what they're gonna continue to feed you. I asked one of the other media members that I know, how can you legitimately attend this, cover it, talk about it, report about it when you know what this is all about?
Yeah.
And he had no answer for me. I will watch it because it's on Netflix, but I can't take it seriously. Do you take wrestling or wrestling seriously?
A lot of people do.
WWE?
A lot of people
No,
do.
but do you? I'm about to break that Santa Claus secret on y'all right now about wrestling. There used to be a time when they wrestled and everybody was like, you saw how things were going on and they did what they had to do to make it almost believable. But then I went to a live show and they literally stopped with the action and went back and ran the same match three times to get the right ending. Talk about insulting my damn intelligence.
Yeah.
They didn't do that old school. They just roll with it. But three times, say, well, when we get this right, y'all should be glad just to be here. You talk about, man, that's a bad pill to swallow.
Want to give shots out to Danny Garcia. He says he's going to retire after a knockout victory Saturday. He said he's going to be 85% retired because 15% of him still love the sport. He still wants to box. We would love to see him box for another title, but that's to be seen. He said if the money's right, he will come back. But he had a great career straight out of Philly. And yeah, he may have a fight in Puerto Rico. You never know. And come back strong and maybe grab another title. But salute to you, sir. You were in some major battles and appreciate your career. Last second shot, man.
I know this person does not need any sympathy, does not want it because that's who they are. But every time I think about football and college football and watching some of the games, and then I watch this person on the sideline, I am amazed how they're still standing and doing playing coaching football. I'm talking about Deion Primetime Sanders. When you understand that in 6 years, last 6 years, he's had 13 surgeries, I think it is. And the situation where he's going through what he has to do in order to go to the restroom, but he's out on that sideline coaching these guys out and doing everything he can, and his faith is so amazing. And I know he's not a perfect man. I would not say that at all, but I would say maybe I'm thinking the reason why he's still out there coaching is because that's the way he feels alive. If he has to sit down, maybe that will just destroy him. He will not quit. Just his effort. And every time I think about something, maybe I may have an issue or something, I think about what he deals with daily. Amazing effort for whatever reason why. And I just don't know what's going on with him totally. With him having that recent surgery as well, he's still back out there. kudos to him, and I hope things go his way. And I love to see a man of faith, despite what others think, giving his all.
Great shot. Great shot. That's our show. We will be back next week. Peace.